So welcome back to the channel. As you can see, not cutting the grass yet. What I'm doing this morning is I'm tidying and cleaning my cartridge. So the cartridge wasn't aligned this morning. What I'm finding is that I need to clean the cartridge more regularly than I did with the Atco that I had before. The Atco just used to work all the time. Pretty much, you set the bed knife, you set the cut, and it was fine. Whereas on the Allett, it seems to be a lot more susceptible to coming out of alignment. So what I've got to kind of do is, and you'll see me trying to pull this out. I'll pull this across here a wee bit so you can see it a wee bit better. But basically I'm trying to just loosen this up enough to get it to come out. So this is the back shield I'm taking out of the way, and you just pull this through and then just release it. And you can see there's quite a lot of caking on here. I don't know if anyone does this every single time they take their lawnmower out. This kind of build up inside the cartridge. I never used to get this kind of build up inside the Atco's bladed cartridge. This is only really in the Allett. I'm not really sure why that is. Maybe a little bit more gap between this piece and the actual blade. But I do find that it cakes up quite considerably. And again, never really got that last year, so it's a matter of just kind of pulling this off. Because what happens is when you'll see these chunks of dried grass, these kind of just build up on the inside. And when you're cutting the grass, you'll find that they actually come out when the grass is being trimmed. So what I tend to do is just get a screwdriver or something like this, just scrape off the dried debris, and it's just like chunks of grass, just dried cut grass that comes off. I managed to do a cut yesterday. I didn't record it unfortunately because it was again, the weather was a bit inconsistent yesterday, but I managed to get a dry spell just to do the grass, and as you can see it's cut out there. But what I did find is it wasn't kind of cut in the way that I wanted it, so I thought this morning I'll come out and do this and tidy up the back of the cartridge and just really take it apart. I've got the wood pigeon keeping me company here this morning. This doesn't need to be line and burst really, this just needs to be cleaner than it was, so that you don't get this kind of build up, this dried grass build up on the back of your cartridge. Yeah, you could use a wire brush, things like that. I'm touching my nose a lot because I get a bit of bad hay fever now and again, so this is part and parcel of just maintaining the lawnmower and keeping it working at its best. And all I'm doing is just rubbing the screwdriver up and down on the back of this. Just clearing up some of these caked up areas. I'd be curious to hear, I'll tag Allett in this in this video, but just curious to hear their views on it, why this might coop up more than the previous Atco cartridge that I had, because that was, I pretty much never had to take that Atco cartridge apart. It just always used to free itself of any kind of attached material, whereas I said with the Allett it seems to cake up a lot quicker. I'm not really sure why that is, but looking a bit better than it was. Not very much grass on it anymore, and that was all the sort of thick pieces that came off it there, so several. There's a wee debris pile down here, but if you look inside here, you get like loads of this stuff building up, much more than, as I said, much more than it was before. And it just sticks to the blades. Maybe if Allett could come up with a better system for maybe coating the blades or something like that with something that, like a non-stick type process, that would be great. As I said, I'm going to do this on a more regular basis, just to keep the blades a bit cleaner. I'm just recording this in real time so that you can see the process. As I said, it's not really a fun task to do. You won't be out cutting your grass, but don't do it this way at all. Just build up and build up and build up. Maybe that's just what you get when you get a higher quality system. It's more prone to, you know, filling up with material and everything like that needs to come off. But if you think about this, right, if this is all on the bottom knife, you know, sitting against your lawn or whatever, then you're not going to get as good a cut when the machine's in operation. So yeah, see, you can't really even turn it. So Allen key to take this piece off here. This is going to make the camera wiggle, sorry about that. I don't record any of these videos on anything other than my iPhone at the moment. My neighbours are getting their windows washed, so that's who that is in the background, if you're asking. I'm wondering. So, if you take this screw out of here, it's one of two that needs to come out. It's quite a thick set screw. There's one on this side as well. You just the only one thing I would say I wish Allett would include in some of their packaging is a T, one of these 5mm. So I wish it would include one of these in it. You know, if you're buying a £4,000 lawnmower, how much is one of these going to cost to put in it? Even if you, I think the lawnmowers, the one I've got was just the lawnmower on its own, is $38.50. Just add a fiver on 38 or a tenner, 38.60. Just put one of these in. They're a lot easier to use than, you know, the standard Allen keys. So yeah, just a wee ask if you could improve your, you know, put a slightly better spanner in and slightly better one of these. So that's with the two of them off, and if you do that, you'll lift it off, and that'll free up the blade. What you've got to be careful is there's two little pieces of metal here, and just keep them referenced in where they were. So now you can see the blade spinning freely, and if you look at the bottom knife, it's caked, as you can see here. So I need to get rid of all this material. Otherwise, what happens is when you're using the machine, if this isn't cleared out the way, it can interfere and it just causes problems. So it's just better to get it out the way. Excuse my Scottish. Out the way. Hopefully, no matter where you're watching this from, you can understand what I'm saying. If not, leave me a comment, I'll adjust accordingly. I used to work many years ago. I used to work for a company. I used to travel globally. I used to look after. I work in technology, so I used to look after a system that was used with multiple thousand people globally, and used to travel around the globe. When there was system deployments and things like that we used to do, and used to get a laugh that everyone who in the American office used to think I was Irish. That's like saying to an American or a Canadian, you're either one of them. I think people would take great offence at that. Nah, I'm used to it. The territory, but I used to have a laugh because sometimes people with a Scottish accent is quite thick for some people to understand, so I had to kind of always tone down my accent a wee bit when I was used to be doing training or talking to people or whatever. So yeah, it was always fun. Big shout out to my ex-colleagues. If anyone watches this and sees it, big shout out to everyone around the globe. Hope you're all doing well. Miss you guys. Really enjoyed working with you over the years. Maybe we'll pass across again in the future. So yeah, just cleaning off this bottom knife here. It's already looking a million times better. Again, maybe another ever so slight complaint for Allett, I'll show you in a minute, for this bed knife mount. So you can see this is all the stuff that's coming off it, big chunks of grass debris and everything. So, bed knife a bit clean. And here's my criticism for Allett. See these screws, Allett? These screws are rusting already, and this cartridge is only 2-3 months old. Could you maybe think about using stainless steel screws in there instead of these ones, because they're actually, as you can see, some of them are actually rusting already. I'm just worried that in time they might, fail or whatever. So again, great product, but it could be better just by maybe putting some better quality screws in this, especially this important component. So that's 2 parts cleaner to tidy. So you can see in the back of these blades there's grass build up on the back of the blades, so I just need to clean off these blades and just sort of scrape off this dried grass material. So you put these little pieces back in. Got to be careful where they're positioned, because the blade is so tight in tolerance that if you put it too close it can actually catch that bit, so you obviously don't want that. And you get your bed knife and you place that on, so make sure we're on the right side. So you want your bed knife in the leading edge, so that goes in like that. Just make sure everything's correctly aligned. Get your set screws, like these ones. Put them back in, thread them on. And the same on the other side. Yep, so you have little screws in here, nylon washers or nylon nuts that are threaded on. It's just ever so, just to tighten everything up. They push against each other and you just make sure that they're flat with that knife at the bottom. So that's the bed knife down, and you should hear it. You should hear that noise. That means we need to set it. We're not quite there yet. What we need to do next is put on this, which is the back guard. So put it down first at the bottom, and then you slide it up into its place. Just make sure everything's aligned. And then you've got these wee screws here, these wee ones here, and they just go into the back. You just need a Phillips screwdriver. Put these in. And if you want to, if you're finding not quite everything's aligned, what you can do is put in a wee bit of WD-40 just to keep everything nice and slack. That's the first one in. Put one in on one side, one in on the other side at the bottom. That just keeps everything in its place. So that's the back shield on, the bottom knife in place, and I've just tuned the blade by adjusting. There's some screws down in here and on the other side, and you do the blade test with a folded piece of paper like this, and then what we can do is just put the blade on its back like this, and just get the camera to come down ever so slightly. It's difficult to see this one here, but basically if I just run the blade across the whole side there, middle, and over at the end, and you'll see the blade cutting like that. That's what you want to see. That's the blade looking a bit better now. But that'll be the video for today. So that was cleaning your cartridge, setting it to the lawnmower and giving it a cut, and there's the results that you can see, guys. So hope you have a nice one today, and if you like the video, you want to leave me some suggestions what to do, things you want to see, drop me a comment, drop me a like, and if you see the video and you like it, subscribe to the channel. Help me grow to my 500, my next target to get to. So thanks very much, have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.